up, guys? It's Suji, and you're watching the pilot episode of JRPG News. And let's get started off with the Summer Game Fest, which is actually less than a week away. And I'm very excited. There has been a lot of rumors and leaks about the games that potentially could be unveiled, and obviously a lot of speculation as well, from my part especially. And there has been discussions on Reset Era. Person wrote that he would love to see Kingdom Hearts 4, Resident Evil 9, Persona 6, and even teaser part for Part 3 of Final Fantasy 7. And one of these industry leakers, which are kind of known on these circles, Nate Drake, made a response. I know few Japanese games being shown at SGF. Your expectations don't seem too high. So you should be thrilled per your own words, kind of alluding that there'll be a lot more coming out than the four-mentioned games that this person was talking about. But obviously, when it comes to these leaguers, we have to kind of take them with a grain of salt. But there are things that actually support his theories, because there is a partner list which has been unveiled, to my understanding, a couple of days ago on the website, which includes all the partners. And we have Bandai Namco here. They got probably a game, which I'm going to be talking about in a second. We have CG Project Red, which means Witcher 4 is going to be shown more. Maybe an extended trailer into the cinematic. I don't think gameplay is going to be ready yet. We have Capcom, which is going to be meaning Resident Evil 9. But it could also be remakes for Resident Evil 1, which have been hinted a lot. Hopefully that's not going to be the one. Code Veronica and Resident Evil 5. I would really want to have Code Veronica because that's the one I haven't played, and Resident Evil 5 would be great as it is a great co-op game, so that would be amazing to have some co-op action. But Resident Evil 1, do we need to have another remake of that so soon? Hopefully not. But I would probably still buy it on discount. And then we have Magic the Gathering here. Maybe you're going to be seeing more Final Fantasy cards. We have Nexon, Netmarble, Neoviz. Some of these have involved in some MMO games on the JRPG genre, especially Nexon. Nintendo is here. Maybe we're going to be seeing... Well, I think it's very unlikely that Monolith would be revealing a game outside of Nintendo Direct. So that's not going to happen. So no, probably some extended gameplay stuff reveals from Nintendo. And then we have Square Enix. Now, one of the things that kind of doesn't support Nate's theories is Atlas is not listed here. So why is Atlas not here? I don't know. So that's kind of like, will Persona be here? Kind of remains to be seen. But from Square, we could see Part 3 of Final Fantasy VII being teased, so we might hear the name finally, what's going to be called. I would have loved it to be called Reunion, but that's not going to be the name because they used it on Crisis Core. So opportunity missed there. There has been a lot of other theories about like Final Fantasy VII Restart, or I don't know really. I don't really care that much. Final Fantasy VII 17 is too early to be shown, and we could see a teaser for Final Fantasy 12. But what I'm really expecting and hoping is that Final Fantasy 9 remake, which has been on the news a lot by many different people. People have confirmed it's in the making. Then we have also Tactics remake, which nobody's talking about. So that could be also in the mix, but there has not been leaks about it. So that's kind of up in the air. And Kingdom Hearts 4, I'm pretty sure that the pictures that they were showing us a week ago were definitely taken from a teaser trailer. So we're going to be seeing some type of a teaser of the gameplay at this event. I think it would be a perfect time. And there also probably is going to be some type of Dragon Quest or early Final Fantasy game, like a 2D HD remake, like the Octopath Traveler treatment. We're going to be seeing a lot more of that coming from Square. I'm not sure, are they ready to show us a new one? Because we already had like the Bravely Default, and we had the Dragon Quest 3, 1 and 2. Or is it 3 and 4? I'm not a Dragon Quest expert, so don't ask me, but that could be in the mix. So I'm very hopeful, but I'm cautiously optimistic at the same time, because Square has been a lackluster. I don't think it's going to be a new Final Fantasy XIV expansion, at least. So I think we're in a good situation to get something good. Now, then obviously we had an update on the Final Fantasy IX anniversary website. So initially they were revealing the 4 first characters, and there were some very abysmal Google translates from these texts. And I don't know, maybe the original text is written in a poetic form or something. That's why the translation sucked. But basically, they revealed the remaining 4 characters. Freya, Quina, which has been now translated to being like he, she, or something like that. I don't know if that's a mistranslation or was it done on purpose. We have Eiko here, and we have Salamander Coral, not Amaranth, so it's called Salamander. I don't know if they're going to be changing his name actually on this version, but I mean, this is kind of alluding that they are gradually releasing information and merch. Why they would be doing that if they're not going to be revealing the game? As I said on my speculation video about Final Fantasy IX, there is a chance that they will reveal it in July because that would be the Japanese anniversary. And there's a lot of cool merch. I might buy the Vivi thing or this hat. This is kind of cool, but it might look kind of cringe on me, but whatever. I personally just believe that this would be a perfect time to show the remake. There's so much leaks about it. I really want to see Tactics too, but Niantic's president, and yeah, I think all the evidence is showing it's in the making, it's going to be coming. But as I kind of said on the previous video, where I speculated on this, it's very possible that they had to restart making of the game at some point during the development, which is reason why there's been so many delays. Now, there's also been a rumor that there's going to be a Tales mainline game revealed at Summer Game Fest. It's been a while since we had Tales of Arise, which was, you know, kind of mess in terms. The gameplay was fun, but it was balanced poorly towards the teamwork stuff. And then we obviously had, you know, the story kind of being very boring and lackluster, and it wasn't as open world. I didn't like that. So if they fix those things, those three elements, graphically it was looking good. The character designs were pretty great. I maybe wanted to see more anthropomorphic and more interesting looking characters, not so much of these humans. So I'm positively, you know, optimistic here about that it could be a good game. When we look at Tales' history, they usually hit the mark more than they miss it. And then there's been so many of these voice actors on Persona 4, which basically have said that we're not working on this remake. 3 people have come out forward so far, and they've been tweeting about it, and I think this is kind of like a weird timing, to be honest, but I think it supports the idea. Is it marketing to? I don't know. But once again, Atlas is not on the summer game list. It's not here. So is it going to be still involved? Don't know. But I'm hopeful. And then we have a couple of other news items over here. We have Claire Obscure basically making 3.3 million copies sold. And obviously I did write my whole thing about the Masonic stuff behind the game. And I think I'm more and more believing into my theories as more of this evidence comes out forward, because they could have made this post on once they sold 3 million copies, because they said initially 500k, then 1 million, then 2 million, and the next logical step would have been 3 million. But no, we're going to be waiting for 3.3 million. That's kind of interesting, don't you think? And it is 33 days ago that this happened. So, I mean, and there's been other people who have been feeding me information after my article came out. I'm just kind of like vindicated on this thing that, yeah, I kind of believe that there's some weird Masonic stuff going on behind the scenes. But maybe we're going to be knowing about it in the future. We are going to be talking about some other reveals and game trailers that came out. So there was the Indie Quest 2025, which came out yesterday. So this is kind of like a trailer into, like, I think there was over 40 titles which were shown about indie retro titles. I'm going to be showing out the ones that I personally like the most. So, and obviously you can find the link down below. You can look them to yourself. So Tactics Returners was probably the most best looking game out of the ones, and obviously art is very subjective. And I don't really like the title too much. It should be called Tactics something else. Returners just sounds kind of dumb, I'm not gonna lie. But in terms of the gameplay, like, this one looks good. There's good 2D art here that I'm really digging, and it's kind of like this, you know, sort of a 2D camera angle, but the models are 3D and the FX are 3D. And I'm looking more forward to these, like, more 3D-esque, you know, tactics games. I don't like the sprite art too much, I'm not gonna lie. That's not my thing. But this one is something I could potentially buy, but obviously I would have to try it out first and kind of feel, get my feel about it. But this one looked pretty good. Then we had one's called Gaze of Naeli, another one that is kind of more reminiscent of these early Fire Emblem games. So in case you love Fire Emblem, this is going to be a game that you're going to be very interested in. and there seems to be a lot of lore and everything. And in some elements, maybe not the best graphics and the best art style here. I'm not a big fan of this Deviant Tumblr thing going on here, but hey, it is what it is. And then we got a new trailer from Front Mission 3 Remake. This one also was another one that people were giving a lot of like feedback on the initial trailers, and apparently they actually did do a lot of fixing on it. So it seems to be a lot more coherent and responsive in terms of the animations and the movements. And I haven't played this series, but this is something that I could, be kind of interested trying it out at least. And then we also had a bit of a new footage about the new Digimon game. So that is the Digimon Storytime Stranger, yeah. And honestly, like, I would really love to see Digimon World 1 being remade. I think that's the perfect Digimon game. Maybe I need to go playing it on emulator again. To have a review on the channel, but the footage here looks pretty impressive. It seems to be like a bit more higher budget. Like I did review the Digimon Survive earlier, and that was a great game, but honestly, it was too low budget. It needed to have a lot more of that combat than being actually, visual novel. So I think if it would have been a bit more bigger budget game, I would have loved it more. But I think I would love to see kind of like a more of a sequel of that game to do it on a bit more bigger budget. And then we have some other announcements here. Brave the Default, we're going to be having a pre-launch live stream in 2 days. I haven't played the Bravely series, and I'm really looking forward to get into it. So I'm probably going to be buying this title. This was announced for Nintendo Switch, but I'm 100% sure that at some point, months after, it's going to be getting the PC port, and that's probably when I'm going to be jumping into the gun, or I'm going to be playing it on Switch emulator. I'm not sure if I'm going to be waiting or not. I got a lot of games in my backlog, but I think it's not going to be an exclusive, and I think it's foolish to think so, especially given the statements that Square have given in the last couple of months about their new strategies about being multi-platform. Stellar Blades demo is now available on PC. I did review this game on PS5, and I have to say it's one of the best Souls games ever made. It's not just about the nice pussy of a main character. It has good gameplay. And I actually like the story as well, and the world and the setting. It kind of got a bit of a critique, maybe because it has Christian allegories on it. I don't know, I'm not sure. But there was critique of it. But I actually liked it. And I think it's a really great game. And I'm really excited for the sequel whenever that's going to be coming out. Also, Night Rain has finally dropped out. Not sure if I'm going to be picking this out. There has been some negative reviews on it. And given the fact that this studio has never been really good at doing multiplayer, so I'm kind of skeptical about how From Software is going to be, dealing with that. Is it going to be a great game? Can it be a great co-op experience? I'm going to be waiting it out and see a bit of the feedback on it, but in case you loved Elden Ring, you might want to check that out as well. And then there was a last, trailer, which was on that indie thing, which was this like a merger between multiple different games called the Infinite Alliance, which is this like a crossover game. It's kind of interesting one, and this was like a, from multiple different games like Chained Echoes, Jack Move, My Familiar, Eternal Remnant, Quartet. A lot of these games were actually featured in that stream. But that basically wraps up our news cycle. There's a lot of things we're going to be covering probably after the Summer Game Fest, and this is my pilot episode, obviously, so I need all the feedback possible here about the format, the length, and all that stuff. And what should I cover in the future videos as well? Is there a certain niche, etc., that I should talk about? But thanks for watching, guys. I will be seeing you in the next video when we'll be dropping out. Thanks. Cheers.